All right, so this is the Black Stick of Death, and one of the things we're real proud of about this call is how dense the material is, and you know, we think it's just about nearly indestructible. So basically, I'm going to blow this call, and then we're going to put it underneath the front tire of a full-size Chevrolet pickup truck and run over it. See what she sounds like afterwards. All right. So there she is, a few scratches on the barrel, but everything looks fine. So there's the insert. Looks like she still works. There's a sound that a keyhole bolt makes that everybody is trying their best to replicate. And almost without exception, every call maker or call cutter or person that's trying to sell a duck call that they call a cut down, every one of those people has a connection to a call that is extra special to them. An old. This is mine. I cut this call. It's not my first old. Not the first one that I cut, but it's my favorite. I cut this old in 2014, the morning, the day of, actually, the morning before the World's Contest in Stuttgart. And I had a couple other olts that were on my lanyard that I'd been hunting for years. I had a shelf full of olts that other people, good friends, had cut. But when I cut this one, it was like hitting a grand slam, a walk-off grand slam at the bottom of the ninth, to be honest. And I took that call that day to that contest, and I won. And I've carried this call to the woods and won. It's just kind of sentimental, and frankly, I don't hunt this call very much at all because I'm afraid I'll lose it, like a lot of other things in my life. It's taped, it's attached with fishing line, it's condomed, and it's still got the same reed and the same cork in it since 2014 because I'm kind of scared to take it apart. It's a little bit religious, to be honest. And it's, like I said, it's not the first, but it's the most special. The most special one before this one is the one that I patterned my BSOD after. And the raised letter BSOD that we built at the end of 2009 and early 2010 that we started selling in October of 2010, that call was trying its best to emulate the sound of the most special keyhole in my life that I'd cut before this one. And so there's this, when you're making calls for a living, there's this never-ending sort of journey to find that right sound. Not even that right sound, because most of them are good, they're not wrong, but to find that perfect sound. And there's an it factor to it that's really hard to describe, and you try to put adjectives on it, and you talk about how it feels in the different parts of it, but when you hear it, and when you feel it, and when you blow it, you know it. And, that was in late 2009, early 2010, when we launched Rolling Thunder game calls out of my parents' barn, and came to market with the motorcycle grip BSOD. That's what we were going for. And ever since then, we've been seeking, searching, going for that sound. And so I'm super excited about what we've built, because all of the OGs, the Rs, the XLs, the XLSs, the Levy cuts, all of those round hole modern day cut downs are trying to accomplish exactly the same thing. They're seeking that sound, and they're trying to, in different ways, accommodate things like back pressure and things like tooling and things like acrylic and modern materials. And so they're taking all of those different factors and they're trying to put them all into one call. And yeah, we're trying to make those things fit different callers and different customers, different duck hunters. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to replicate that extra special sound of a keyhole. And that's what we've tried to do with the, rebirth of the BSOD. So we did our very best to emulate that sound. And like I said, it's a never-ending cycle. It's a journey. It's a search to always improve upon what you've done before, to improve upon both the usability of the call, but also improve upon the material of the call and the fit and finish of the call, the sound of the call, the way it operates, and the availability of the call. It's a never-ending journey to improve on what has come before it. And so this is the modern day BSOD. It has got a keyhole insert, and that keyhole, like everything else, is a product of our intention to improve upon things that we've done in the past. And so it's not there's a big difference between trying to make something better and just trying to replicate something that was. And so we've made a really strong effort, both with the XL and the XLS and the Levy cut and now the BSOD new generation. We've tried not to just simply replicate what was before. We've tried to take what we've learned before. We've tried to take the old school stuff and add it to the new school and to the things that we've learned and meld it all together into the very best product that we can offer to our customers. And so this is not a replication of a keyhole old. It's not a replication of the Levy cut with a keyhole in the end of it. It's not a replication of the BSOD exactly. It's our best effort to seek that sound of a keyhole in a modern keyhole. So what I want to do is just kind of walk you through what we did with this call, the inner workings of it, and show you how it's a combination of what was and what will be, and ultimately how it is a product of our goal to make things better than we did before. So here it is. This is the BSOD. It is an all acrylic keyhole style cut down. Everything that's on this call has been machined right here in Somerville, Tennessee, under our roof, with our machines, and by our staff. The letters are raised. They are raised just like the old injection molded, rough BSODs of days gone by. The letters are almost identically the same size, both in depth off the barrel and in height. We tried very intentionally to leave the gap between the letters rough so that you could see the machine marks. And then we actually machined in, it's probably my favorite part of the whole call, a parting line on the barrel, just like the injection molded calls had a parting line on them. And for most of y'all, that parting line won't mean anything at all. But for me and for my family, those parting lines mean a lot, because those parting lines were the result of a very imperfect mold. The mold that made this call didn't come together perfectly. No matter how hard we tried, we couldn't get that thing to line up exactly right. And so every call came out with an extra pronounced parting line. And we had to take a razor knife and we had to very carefully trim down both sides of the barrel. We had to trim off the gate where the plastic came into the mold. And we had to try our best to true up the parting lines. And if you ever hold one of the old BSODs and look at the barrel like this, you'll be able to see that the left side and the right side are a little bit offset. They don't meet up perfectly. And so not only did it not meet up perfectly this way, it didn't meet up perfectly this way. And it was just the best that we could do at the time. But we were really proud of it. And at the time, it was the only polycarbonate injection molded keyhole duck call on the market. And so I say all that to just say that the parting lines that we left or intentionally put on this acrylic BSOD are very intentional. They're a nod to where we came from. And they're not only a nod to the sentimental aspect of the hours that we spent working in an unair-conditioned garage to make those parts usable for somebody, they're also a very intentional nod to where we've come from and where we hope to continue growing in a pursuit of always improving and always pushing the envelope to make things better. And so that's the barrel. It's got a polished mouthpiece and the letters are polished, but the area between the letters is flat. And we left it flat as an exaggerated version of the rough areas that were between here. And ultimately, we wanted you to be able to tell the difference between the old BSODs and the machined acrylic BSODs, so that there's no fake. So the insert. The insert has a 14 mil reed. It has a modern cork tab and a modern cork. And by modern, I mean it's a 3/16 thickness cork as opposed to the 1/4 inch thick cork that the old D2 keyholes used, or that the old BSODs used, or that a lot of the molded keyholes of today use, that thicker cork. We used the thinner cork for a couple of reasons. One is the additional height on that cork helps it last longer in its contact with the reed and it's holding the reed in place. The other reason is just really simple and pragmatic. This cork is, this modern cork, what we call it, is much easier to find. It's easier to source and it's easier to come by. The thicker poly cork, rubber and cork mixed, that is gasket material, it's really, really hard to find. And so we wanted to make sure that we used a material that both did the best job of holding the reed in place, as well as gave us the opportunity to provide it to you for a lot of years to come. We didn't want to build this call, engineer this call with a cork that we were going to have trouble finding 6 months from now or 12 months from now. All right, so the insert and the inner workings of the insert. The tone board overall is thinner than any of the previous tone boards, the OG, the R, the XL, the XLS, or the Levy cut. And it's a little bit thinner because it most similarly replicates the sound and the design of my very most favorite Olt. This is a very thin tone board call, and it has a higher pitched top end than most of the modern round hole cut downs. And it's a nasally sound that's super ducky, and it's a sound that I like. It's a sound that we like and that we think makes a difference. And so as a result, this tone board is very thin. We tried our very best to engineer this tone board just like the old BSOD tone boards and like this Olt. All right, so the inner workings of the tone channel. It has a keyhole that we've machined into it that comes up into the bore, and it combines that keyhole with the modern stepped bore system that works so well. And so it's a combination, like I said before, of the old in the keyhole and the new in our bore system. And I think that the result is a call that most similarly replicates the tonal qualities that we loved in the old BSODs and in my very most favorite, not famous, Olt. And so what I want to do is I just want to blow this call for you. I'm going to blow my Olt, and I'm going to just kind of go through some of the paces of the different parts of tonal range, top, bottom, and then the chatter. So let's see, let me get this read in here. Well, most favorite Olt, keyhole sound. (2024) BSOD, that keyhole sound. Are they exactly the same? No. Are they really close? Yeah. It's a never-ending search. It's a journey to improve tomorrow upon what you've done today. The 2024 BSOD relaunch, rebirth, whatever word you want to use for it, is our best attempt to continue improving upon the quality calls that we've been building for just over 14 years. There's something about that keyhole sound.
All right, so there she is. A few scratches on the barrel, but everything looks fine. So there's the insert. Looks like she still works.
This is the 2024 reborn BSOD keyhole.